Fellow lions and friends, it's my pleasure and privilege to introduce to you one of the most dedicated and devoted lions, whose mission of life since the year 2007 has been restoration of eyesight for the corneal blinds. He is Lion Chief Thaku Chugani. Lion Thaku Chugani served as District Governor of District 404A1 Nigeria during the Lionistic year 2006-2007. Friends, it is from this year that he embarked on his lifelong mission of restoring eyesight for the blinds. His work and success in this direction brought for him various laurels and informal titles: Knight of Blind, Savior of Blind, Crusader of Cornea, Sight Restoration Ambassador, Friends of Blind, etc., from those whose life he has served during his lifetime. Lion Thaku relocated to India during the year 2011 and he joined as charter member of Lions Club of Pune Shatabdi since its inception in the year 2016. Continuing his mission with the same zeal and enthusiasm, Lion Thaku Chugani is responsible and instrumental for restoring eyesight of over 1,600 persons during his last 14 years. Friends, this itself is a big achievement. I am sure Lion Thaku must have been waiting to talk more about this with his experience and knowledge. So without much ado, I will now welcome Lion Thaku. Thank you.
Thank you, Lion Temas Barucha, for that wonderful introduction. Fellow Lions and dear friends, how did this all happen? Well, it happened at the tail end of my governorship in Nigeria. Dr. Lion Mosun Faderin and myself visited a blind school in Ogun State, Nigeria, where we interacted with the students, and suddenly there was one young boy who tapped at my shoulder and said, "You're an Oyibo." I was astonished because Oyibo means a white man. How did he call me a white man? Maybe he could see a little bit. So I asked him, "Can you see something?" He said, "Yes, I can see very faintly." I was puzzled. Why is this boy in this school? So I called Dr. Faderin and said, "Mosun, how come this boy is in this blind school when he can see a little bit?" So she says, "Governor, he is cornea blind." I said, "What is cornea blind? How can we treat him? Can we restore his vision?" She said, "Yes, I'll explain everything to you. But you see, to get a cornea for him is pretty expensive. It's over $500 to $1,000 and we have to import it from a foreign country." That worked on my head. I must help this boy. How do I help this boy? So on our way back home, I asked Mosun, "What is a cornea?" And she said, "A cornea is the outer layer of the eye which serves to focus the vision." She also explained what is cornea blindness. She said cornea blindness is man-made and it could be distracted by an injury or burns, etc., etc. I then realized that to get this cornea for this boy is not going to be that easy. Fortunately, past international president, late Lion Rohit Mehta, and his wife Asha were supposed to be the chief guest at our Ilorin convention in Nigeria. I was very lucky to interact with him and tell him about this incident that happened to me at this blind school. And I asked him whether he could help us. And he smiled and he said, "Governor, that's my pet project. I'll see what I can do when I get back home." After 2 months, I got an invitation from Lion Dr. Dilip Shah and Mr. Gautam Mazumdar of Ahmedabad, inviting Dr. Faderin and myself to attend the World Blind Day in Ahmedabad. We were the chief guests of late Lion Rohit Mehta. When we attended the World Lions Blind Day, we were asked to say something about the blind in Nigeria, and which I did. After my talk, Mr. Gautam asked me whether I would like to see how they retrieve the eyeballs from a diseased body. We went over to the diseased house and it was very emotional because we saw the whole family mourning over the body. The volunteers then dispersed the family and retrieved the 2 eyeballs put it in a container full of ice, and we took it down to an eye bank called CS Samaria, a Red Cross International eye bank. Mr. Gautam then showed us the process of how the eyeballs are then cleansed up, the blood samples taken, lab report given, the corneas removed, valued, and then put in a container where it could be preserved for about 3 days. We were very happy to see this process. I wanted to ask Gautam whether he could give us 6 corneas because we had a long wait list in Nigeria. But at that moment, I was a little nervous and a little afraid to ask him for such a request. Finally, we gathered our momentum and we asked him, "Sir, can you please give us 6 corneas? We have patients waitlisted. We want it for Nigeria." He did not say anything. Just before our departure to Lagos, he came up with a lovely box saying gift of sight. And the first thing I asked him, how many corneas? And he said 6. I hugged him and said, "Thank you very much, sir." We then rang the cornea surgeon and told him to prepare the 6 patients that we will be in Lagos tomorrow afternoon. When we arrived Lagos, we immediately rushed to the hospital with this beautiful packet of gift of sight. The cornea surgeon and the technicians then evaluated the corneas and told us that they were a fantastic grade of corneas. I was very happy. I did interact with the patients, and the next day the surgeries were done, and lo and behold, after 3 days, all these 6 patients had a successful operation. Their sight was restored. I'm sure Helen Keller must be smiling in her grave and saying, "Lions, you are truly the knights of the blind." Friends, all this sounds very simple, but it is not simple at all. It is the most difficult thing to procure corneas. Corneas are not normally given to a non-medical person, which I am. They are normally procured by the cornea surgeon of a reputed hospital. An order is sent to the eye bank and the patient's description is required, and then the eye bank actually values the cornea and then sends it down to the eye bank. But in my case, it's totally different. The cornea surgeon requests me for a cornea, and I in turn report to the eye bank about the patient, and the cornea is then shipped to me in a beautiful box, insulated box with ice, which is about 4 degrees centigrade. Friends, Air India is the only airline in India that transports corneas. They are very efficient and they don't charge us even 1 rupee. The procedure is very simple. To get a cornea, you must need a donor. Without a donor, there is no cornea, there is no eye bank, there is no restoration of vision. So we need a donor. We need to create awareness of how people can donate their eyes after their death. This is a very, very important part for our Lions and our friends to follow. You must counsel your friends. You must create awareness to get a donor tissue. Once the donor tissue is given, the procedure is much more simpler. Like I said, it's carried over to the eye bank and the whole process is done, and then transportation is available. It is then given over to the eye hospital where the cornea surgeon is actually evaluating it once again, and then the patients are called in and the transplant is done. The surgery is done within about 45 minutes under local anesthesia. Once this is done, the patient has to take a lot of precaution for the first week, and then gradually his vision is restored. Fellow Lions, I still appeal to you to please create an awareness for eye donation, because without an eye donation, once again, there is no restoration of vision. The eye bank does not play any role if there is no corneas. Friends, as mentioned before, I have the satisfaction to say that I have procured for over 1,600 corneas, out of which 1,200 corneas have been given to the armed forces and most parts of military hospitals in India. It was a great experience once at the military hospital when I entered the military hospital and I asked for the cornea surgeon. And I told him that my mission is to give you corneas. It was so sad that he didn't even listen to me. He just asked me to get out because he thought I was a middleman. I was making a quick buck. After about 2 months, a new cornea surgeon took over from him, and he was discussing with his assistant about how to procure corneas. The reason was they had a long wait list. Luckily for them, a sweeper was doing her job in his office and overheard what they were talking about. And she told him, "Sir, I know a gentleman who had helped my husband to restore his vision. Tomorrow morning I'll bring his card." And the next day I got a call from this surgeon and he said, "Can you see us tomorrow morning?" And I said, "Yes." Very proudly I entered his office and I told him my mission. And the first thing he said was, "Sir, the army will not give you any money. We do not pay for any corneas." And I smiled and I said, "I'll give it to you free of charge." Friends, how do we do this free of charge? There's a lot of cost involved from the eye bank. So we Lions, Rotarians, Freemasons, friends, family continuously donate to this worthy cause for the upkeep of the eye bank. Friends, I can relate a lot of incidents what happened to me, how I've been thrown out of hospitals thinking that I was a middleman, but I never gave up. My mission was very simple, to restore vision of as many as I can. Till today, I'm still doing the same job. Very recently, after the COVID, it was after 18 months that we got 2 corneas for young boys at KK Eye Hospital, where the operations were successful, vision restored. Friends, there are a lot of hiccups, but one has to overcome all that. There are stories I've heard about cornea blind patients, how they are in trauma, how they want to commit suicide. In their life, they are breadwinners of their family, but they need counseling, they need patience. So we need corneas. How do we need corneas? By donating corneas. Once again, I request you humbly, please donate your eyes after your death. Friends, if you need to know more, my details are mentioned below. Please contact me and feel free to talk to me. I will give you all the information. If I can do it, you can do it. Friends, my sincere thanks to PID Lion AP Singh and PID Lion Sangeeta Jathia for giving me this great opportunity to focus myself for this sight restoration. Thank you.